We're here with our friend Representative Mike Lawler, New York's 17th Congressional District, where he's fighting for his re-election. Mike, how are you? And we need an update. How's it going?
I'm doing well, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Things are going very well with 5 days to go. Last public poll that came out just the other day had us up 5. We have our final debate tomorrow on Pix 11 in New York. And, I feel very good. Speaker Johnson was in town today in my district campaigning with us. We had a great rally in support of our GOTV efforts. And, as we've talked about before, this is a 2-to-1 Democratic district, 80,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Joe Biden won it by 10 points 4 years ago. But President Trump is polling very well in the district. He's been consistently at around 48, 49 in the district in every poll, public and private. And so, I think we're poised for a big win on Tuesday.
You have a lot of police officers in your district, don't you?
I do. 50% of households in my district have a cop, a firefighter, or a veteran living in the household. A lot of New York City, cops and firefighters, and within each of my municipalities, we have, police departments and fire departments. So a lot of first responders, volunteers that live in the district and obviously care about the issues of public safety, the migrant crisis, the affordability crisis that we're dealing with under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And, we've been endorsed by every PBA in New York. My opponent, Mondaire Jones, he's someone who called cops racist and white supremacists, supported defunding the police and cashless bail, wanted to give cop killers the right to vote from prison.
Wow, he sounds like a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's a real peach.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Your district includes a number... Well, let's do it this way. Remind the public some of the towns that are in your district.
I have Chappaqua, where the Clintons live. I have Bedford, where...
Have you ever gone door to door there and knocked on their door and say, would you vote for me? That would be funny.
I've talked to the former president once before, but no, we haven't gone door knocking there. Although maybe tonight would be a good night on Halloween.
Well, it is Halloween, yeah, exactly.
But it's we have Carmel, the town of Carmel, Somers, Yorktown. We have Mount Pleasant. I live in Pearl River. A lot of cops and firefighters over there in Rockland County. It's Rockland, Northern Westchester, Putnam, and Dutchess counties, so immediate suburbs of New York City.
I love that area. I mean, it's really like
a great community.
It is. It's like red-blooded America. It really is. And your opponent, though, is not like red-blooded America. He's a red-blooded American, but he's also a whack job. He's a Marxist, in my view, and he despises the state of Israel. Is that not true?
Absolutely. This is someone who's called himself a socialist. He was endorsed by AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. He voted 97, 98% of the time with the squad. He called for, in our debate last week, he called for Israel to go back to pre-1967 borders and for Jerusalem to be divided between Israel and Palestine.
Sure.
This is someone who, claims he supports Israel now because this district has one of the largest Jewish communities in America, but voted 4 times against Iron Dome in the NDAA. By contrast, Mark, I've passed more legislation to support Israel and combat anti-Semitism than any member of Congress in this session. We've passed the Special Envoy for the Abraham Accords to focus on normalizing relations between Israel and Arab states like Saudi Arabia. We passed the SHIP Act and the Iran-China Energy Sanctions Act to take on the illicit oil trade between China and Iran to the tune of $200 billion under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What they've allowed to happen with this illicit oil trade that is funding their nuclear program, funding Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, funding the ballistic missiles. They lifted sanctions that President Trump put in place. They tried to renegotiate the Iran nuclear deal. That's why we're dealing with this catastrophe in the Middle East right now. And frankly, I don't think people have recognized what a disaster Joe Biden and Kamala Harris created by trying to appease Iran and allowing this illicit oil trade to ensue. So much so that obviously It has funded all the terrorist attacks. It's funded the ballistic missile attacks. And then you look at the vice president, and she's saying, "Don't go into Rafah." If Bibi followed her advice, Sinwar would still be alive. Today at our rally in Rockland County with Speaker Johnson, I had an IDF soldier, a part of Unit 450, that killed Sinwar. He's a resident of mine, he's a constituent, American.
Wow.
But he came back today and came to the rally. It was great to see him. But he was there. His unit is the one that killed Sinwar.
Kamala Harris keeps saying she's going to bring the country together. She's busy in her surrogates calling people who support Trump neo-Nazis and fascists and garbage, Biden. Have you ever seen a campaign, Mike Lawler, even before you got into politics, or did you ever imagine a campaign where people are running against we the people? Have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
It's truly remarkable. I mean, Hillary Clinton 8 years ago called half the country a basket full of deplorables. You got the president of the United States calling Trump supporters garbage. Kamala Harris, obviously, has supported so many extreme policies over the years, including defunding the police, and including open borders, wanting to stop border wall, supporting government-run health care. The policies that they are putting forth are so destructive to the country. And my opponent, Mondaire Jones, agrees with Kamala Harris, hook, line, and sinker. And the challenge here is this. My district and the districts in New York are going to be the ones that determine control of Congress. And we flipped these seats 2 years ago. And obviously the Democrats recognize that their only pathway back to the majority is through New York. They're spending tens of millions of dollars to prop up far-left candidates, including my opponent. But this district is going to determine the outcome. And if folks want to help us, they can go to lawlerforcongress.com or text Lawler to 85007 to give us a last-minute push to get over the finish line on Tuesday.
You know, Mike, we've had, Rich, about 20 House candidates on the program. We have focused on all these tight races, and I've done 5 out of New York because I agree with you. There are other places in the country, too, but not as many as in New York. We got to win these seats in New York. They're very, very important if we're going to hold a majority, let alone build on the majority. And I think you guys, Mike, you and the others, you're very, very solid people, and you're running great races, and you're running against the odds, and you're running against the numbers. Your opponent is a really loathsome, radical leftist, and I'm sure the people in your district know it. LawlerForCongress.com, LawlerForCongress.com. He is my strong support. Mike, go get him, baby. We'll be keeping an eye on it.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Take care, everyone.
You too. If you can help them, folks, help them. All these people need help.